But hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. I am absolutely exhausted. I flew home last night, got 2 hours of sleep on the plane. It's like 10 p.m. I have no energy, but the golf world doesn't sleep, so we must continue on. Josh, it was a hell of a week. Um, yeah, how did things look? Let's start with that because I know that at least on as most of you know who are out there listening, I was on site from Sunday to Sunday over the weekend. I was there from first shot to last shot both days, so a nice 14 hours a day at the course. Seen every single part of LACC that I could ever dream of. But how did it look on TV? I mean, it people didn't love it. People hated the fan setting. Let's hear your thoughts on it. Then I'll see if I can chime in.
Before I dive in, I didn't even tell you that my friend, one of my friends texted me was like, "Are you actually there?" Like
Oh,
because
jeez.
you're posting on TikTok,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Yeah, like I'm there, like it's like sick." And he's like, like asked me about it. And I was like, "No, dude, like I also post videos of me in my apartment right now with the same
Yeah.
exact setting." And then
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, like I didn't really put that together." But if you knew him, he can't put that together fast. But
Fair.
so yeah, very jealous. But yeah, from a TV perspective. I didn't think it was that bad, honestly.
Mhm.
I think like the score, I think because it wasn't that firm on Thursday morning, I guess Xander and Ricky shot 62, broke the U.S. Open or tied it, whatever record. I didn't think it was that bad, honestly, from my perspective. I think that I guess from like a golf sicko as we are, I think it was a different course. I don't want to see Pebble Beach every week. Like we already see Pebble.
Mhm.
It was something different for me to see. And I think that this course, as we did our analysis in episode 2, that it's always a course that there are more chances to birdie holes than Oak Hill in other courses, but there's more chances to double and triple holes than other courses. And I think that because they're like the best players, I guess like depending on like the weather, that there was a lot more birdies that people made early on and had that advantage. So I think on TV, I thought it was exciting.
Mhm.
From my perspective. I mean, the leaderboard at the end ended up as, you had Fowler,
You couldn't ask for anything
McIlroy,
better. Yeah.
Scheffler, all those people. So I feel like the people that were complaining are people that care about the score. And the score came down to what it usually is. Maybe it's higher. I'm not very sure what the USGA's identity is with like the score and like the rough. I'm
Mhm.
not really sure. That's what a lot of people are saying. But I think from TV perspective, it was fine. The fans was a problem. I thought like around the greens and stuff, like there really weren't any fans. There was more
Mhm.
hospitality tents, as you can probably speak on. And cause I think like Ricky made that like 70-foot putt in round 3 on the one of the holes on the front nine, I think, and there was like
Mhm.
no crowd. It was just Ricky
Yeah.
just being like, doing his little like he doesn't really have much emotion. He kind of just does his own thing, kind of salutes himself, says hi to a couple fans, and that was it. So I think that point it was hard, but I think the mainstream media, to summarize this, I think overblew it
Mhm.
and stuff. And I thought it was a solid week, but no one cares about that on TV. Everyone cares about your experience. You were there on site in the nice Cali weather all week, going around, taking videos, sending me pictures, posting on TikTok. We're blowing up, hopefully. So I'm gonna hand off to you, your perspective of the fans and everything LACC. Go.
Well, yeah, geez, I could go on and on and on. So I'll just try to summarize my thoughts in as little as possible. It'll probably just continue. But I guess the best way or place to start. It was actually warmer on the East Coast than it was in California. I've been out in California 3 times in the past 7 months. It was a torrential downpour for one week. The other time it was like middle 70s. This week I think they got into the 70s twice. It was freezing during the morning, being there at 6 in the morning. So not complaining or anything. I mean, I would much rather have like an overcast, cloudy day where you're
Yeah.
not getting baked by the sun or anything like that. But the weather wasn't the best. You think of California, you think of these beautiful, beautiful sun and all this stuff. But yeah, I think that I mean this is my I think seventh US Open now. So I've seen the likes of very crowded ones, and this was definitely the least crowded, but I think it really benefited the people who are actually there, which I don't think a lot of people are talking about. I mean, it's nice when you're going up to watch the leaders and the crowds are like three or four people deep in terms of where you have to stand. So that's the good part, and it's kind of one of those things where I fully understand people like hating about, there's no atmosphere or anything like that. But as someone who was there the entire week, you really can't ask for anything better because it is, bothersome to be in these mad crushes of people and you can't
Yeah.
really see anything. I mean, the only time that I had to really like, it was on the seventh hole of the 270-yard par three on Sunday. I climbed up the hill and hid in a bush when the leaders came. That was the only like outrageous
Hmm.
thing I had to do. Other than that, it's just you walk up and you can practically see anything. Um, so that was really unique. It was a corporate open though. I will say it was. The fans were good. All golf fans usually are, but it was full of a ton of people who had money. I mean, we're talking about this course is two or three steps. You step off the property and you're in Westwood, LA. You're in $10 million homes that, are the size
Right.
of like a classroom or something. So
Yeah.
it was full of people who had a lot of money. And that's, why the crowds were a little bit low. I mean, you've heard that there were 9,000 general admission tickets and LACC bought up 4,500 of them. I actually, because I was there so often, got talking with a couple of members there. Um, the membership didn't want this US Open. They didn't want it for a couple of reasons. And one of the funniest reasons that I heard of that she told me was they still have to pay their monthly dues. So think about this course has been shut down for 2 or 3 months before. It's probably going to take them a good 3-4 weeks to get it back up and running. And when she told me their monthly dues were a little bit under $5,000, I wouldn't be happy paying $25,000 for nothing. I mean, you can't use the property and the membership didn't get any tickets. They still had to buy them at face value. So it was kind of like just like a greed open. It was kind of the USGA saw money grab. The USGA, this is probably the most profitable open in terms of revenue from ticket sales because they were going for 400 a day. I mean, think about if you're a member at a course that you're paying $5,000 to be there a month, and then the USGA comes and says, "No, you got to go pay 500 to go watch it now." So the membership didn't like it, and that's interesting because kind of like what happens in 2039. I mean, it's crazy that the USGA plans these things out so far in advance, but
Yeah.
like they might just rip up the contract and just say we don't want it anymore because this was like that club is so exclusive. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like it's can't post pictures about it. There's insane dress codes. I mean, the initiation fee was $250,000.
Did you feel how like when you got on site, did you feel that like it was like really like country club, like the top of the top, like elite, like elitist? Like, did you feel that like when like you got on site, like the club? I don't know what like the clubhouse exactly looked like, but did you feel that like dues are pretty high? Can't you had to wear like a blazer and like side like the clubhouse. I mean that didn't happen, but like, did you feel that feeling? If that makes sense.
Yeah, yes, I guess that's the best way to put it. But my overall thoughts are going to be a little bit interesting here. It's a really nice course, but it didn't blow me away in all seriousness, given the price point. And
Yeah.
I know that's coming from someone who's not, filthy rich and, people with money just want, to just to be part of the most exclusive things, even if they aren't worth the price point. But I mean, I really don't think there's definitely courses out there that fit the mold of, okay, 5,000 a month. Like, there's definitely
Hmm.
courses out there. This one, I didn't really think fit that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the course is very nice, but it wasn't, something that you go like, oh my gosh, like this is, some like a Fisher's Island up in, the Northeast or, Augusta or something like that. You're like, this is like amazing. Like I would travel, I would do anything to come play here. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd really like run back to go play LACC. And it was just kind of, everyone was talking about like the rough being absolutely ridiculous. And it was, but when you have fairways that are literally, 50, 60 yards wide, like Wyndham Clark's tee shot on 18, he hits it dead to
Yeah.
the right. In any other course, PGA Tour, not all, but most PGA Tour courses, major courses, he's behind a tree, he's in a bunker, he's in deep rough. He's just got a perfect lie, hits it up to 55 feet, two putts. But yeah, it's definitely an elitist place. It's definitely, people who have money go there. I mean, they don't take in actors, they don't take in celebrities. It's just if you have money and you're not like insanely famous, they'll probably take you. I mean, the
Yeah.
membership process to get in there is ridiculous. But yeah, it was a really fun week. I think the best way to kind of summarize why I said it's a corporate open is if you had a Amex card, you got 10% off everything. And if that doesn't scream like elitist, I don't know what does. It stinks
Do you
that
not
I
have Do
don't.
you not have an Amex Gold card? Or I don't know is that
Thanks.
the top one? I think.
No, 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 I don't. But if you think about it, 10% is 10%. I mean, you're talking about concessions or 12-ounce beers were, 9.50 plus 10% tax. So you're jacking it up to like, 10, $11. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would have helped out. Would have helped
So
out in the merch tent, which,
my my question is, when we've been to two tournaments together. Those are only two tournaments I've ever been to. You've been to, you said seven.
too
U.S.
many.
Opens, Ryder Cup, PGA, you name it, other tournaments. So what was your strategy? Like, did you sit on a hole? Did you sit on like six or something? Did you follow Fowler or like Xander or Rory, like a group that you liked? What was your kind of thought process strategy? Because you seem like you have the experience on what to do. So, what was your strategy?
Yeah, I guess the best way to put it is as I kind of said earlier, it's lucky when you're a fan there and there's not this massive crush of people because you could. I know on Sunday we kind of exclusively followed the leaders, so kind of how we
Yeah.
did it would be like go like three holes in front. So
Hmm.
we'll go to hole two, watch the leaders play, then go to like six, watch the leaders
Right.
play, then go to like nine. So
Yeah.
any other U.S. Open, you got to go to a hole and you sit there for hours. So that
Yeah.
was a really cool part, but it was, as I said, it was nice that it wasn't this massive crush of people. The grandstands were ridiculously small though, so that wasn't ideal. I mean, 18 was really sad. um, Half of that grandstand, the one right behind the green, was only for members, and then like on 14, there are three grandstands, two like near 15 T, and then a little bit of a main one, members
Hmm.
only. So there really weren't great options to sit. It was just kind of just it's like walk up, and then you look at like the 15th green or the 13th green, you can't see it, like you just can't go there. So people kind of had the same strategy, but it's just kind of like you just like go a hole ahead, just watch them play through.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hills, it really felt like you're walking through like a national park. I mean, you're walking through sand and trees and all this stuff, so
Hmm.
you could find like really good places to watch. But I would say like the sixth hole was a lot of fun, which is
Yeah.
the par four. You could drive the green, go short. But I think the second hole was the best because there's a little hill right behind where they had the pin on three of the four
Hmm.
days. I just sat there, you just hang out. I was there for when Dustin Johnson made his eight, so that was actually really funny to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was, as I said, it was definitely nice that there wasn't this massive crush of people. But the one interesting thing was for spectators, it was kind of difficult to get like from hole to hole because a bunch of the holes were like kind of blocked off in a sense. Like
Yeah.
if you got on one side of the hole, you couldn't cross to get to the other. Like it was kind of like if you like took a golf course and like divided it in grids, like you would get trapped in a grid and you have to walk all the way around to go to the next grid or something stupid. So like I didn't really see much of like the fourth hole or the third hole because that's just on the opposite side. And then
Yeah.
if you go past the fourth hole, you're trapped on the fifth hole and you got to
Right.
walk all the way through six, seven,
Yeah.
eight, just whatever. So it wasn't the best spectator friendly thing, and I couldn't even imagine if there are like 10,000 more people there, like what they would do because that would just be terrible. So I guess the best way to put it is yes, it didn't look great on TV, but it felt packed in person, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So, how was I guess transitioning to the actual, golf event, golfers out
Yeah.
there? Was there What was the energy like? I mean, well, we kind of said there weren't really that many casual fans there, but like, was there energy of like cheering for Rory or Fowler coming toward the end? Was there any like kind of you could tell like more cheers or not, or kind of like what was like the 18th, I guess the last day since like Fowler kind of came out, he started off poor, and you kind of felt that he just didn't have it. He wasn't making putts, and you
Hmm.
saw that kind of felt Rory was kind of like playing like he was at 20 at St. Andrews last year, where like he's hitting greens. I mean, he's playing decently well. He just can't make a putt, and if he makes one putt, he's in a playoff. And yeah, he still shot well. I mean, a 9 under at any U.S. Open wins, but
Yeah. Hmm.
he was you know second. So kind of what was like the energy like, and kind of observations from round four.
So the energy was a very pro Ricky crowd, as it should be. I mean, the roars
Yeah,
for him were crazy, and I actually thought it was really interesting. People were not that ecstatic about Wyndham Clark. Like, it was really like 95. If you took like 95% of the crowd there, I'd probably say they either wanted Ricky or Rory, and they really didn't want anyone else. Like, I'm not saying like they're upset like Wyndham won. Like, hats off to him. Like, that was one of the best final rounds from not like obviously, he's still a very good golfer, but I think that people thought he would just fade. That was one of the best,
yeah,
final rounds, especially after bogeying 16 and then the up and down on 17 and then 18. Like that was a phenomenal final round by him, but it was definitely a very bipartisan crowd, and they wanted Rory, they wanted Ricky, and they really didn't care about anyone else. Um,
yeah.
so
As
it
as
was
expected.
cool when Ricky was going around, shooting a 62 and making 15 birdies in his first 20 holes, wherever the crazy stat was. So that was definitely cool, but yeah, it wasn't this insanely rowdy crowd. It was more like as I said, toned down, corporate open. I mean, just to put in perspective, the corporate hospitality, I think it was the Champions Pavilion along one fairway. One ticket for the entire week there is 15,000. So if you take, I think there are 12 seats in a box, you're at 175,000 for
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
and you don't
in
even have a view of anything. You can see them walk in front of you. Great, like it
well,
was
I
one of
mean,
those things.
it's a USGA. They have 1 week where they make all their money. So
Yeah,
you you know you were showing the merch tent about the overpriced stuff, but like people can complain. People agree that this wasn't worth that, or
yeah,
the like Blue's Clues little outfit and the candy store gummy bear outfit that
yeah.
you know if they if they hand out for free, I'll wear it, but I'm not paying that money. But like you also got to think that this is their event to make all their money. They have like other amateur events, but they don't make money off those. But yeah, definitely interesting. I think from my at home, you can clip this. This is I don't think I have rooted that hard for a player to win a major since 2016 Spieth.
For
I
you're
was
rooting for
pro,
Ricky.
yeah, Ricky Fowler.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like everyone on round three, all like the analysts and Twitter, they're all like kind of being like, "This is Rory's time. Rory has his story. PGA lives.
Yeah.
Tory. He hasn't won in 9 years. So and so round average. So what?" But I felt like no one was talking about Ricky. It was like Ricky, you know, was out of the top 100 OWGR. Hasn't made so and so majors. And I'm a Spieth, Ricky, JT, Homa, that kind of group now. I guess Homa's getting in that group now since with the,
Hmm.
you know, drinking rosé and predicting on Twitter
Okay,
those
wait.
videos.
I gotta stop you. Did they ever go live? Because I saw that tweet. I was hanging out on the 16th
No,
green, and I
Ho-
saw they never went live.
JT just like posted a video of Homa predicting what the final score was, and Homa was like he thinks that 10 under will win,
Okay.
and that Clark was gonna win, and then like I think JT said 9 under, and then they joked around about like what they would shoot today, and
Yeah.
Homa was like probably 4 over, and for JT like 8 over again as he
Yeah.
shot like 81, but yeah, I haven't rooted that hard for someone, and I had money, but like I don't put enough money on these to actually like be like, oh my god, like I actually won the win.
Hmm.
But you saw in hole one, if you don't bury like the first hole, like you're losing a shot. And I thought that was an underrated part of LACC, that the front was way easier than the back. And if you don't score on the front, as a golfer's perspective, you're like, I'm kind of screwed because like there's really not
Hmm.
many birdie opportunities. There's like 14 to par five and 15 depending on like the whole location and like kind of how you hit it. Like you should probably bury those 2 holes too. So I thought that like I haven't really listened to what Ricky said outside, after the tournament, besides what he said to Clark after, which, is so like wholesome for,
Oh yeah.
Fowler to kind
Hmm.
of say, your mommy proud and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it was just kind of heartbreaking for me, with Ricky, and I obviously wanted Rory to win too, but Bright. I mean, Rory. I mean, the next couple majors are Fowler and Rory have both played pretty well at, so hopefully
Yeah.
they can kind of knock one out. But yeah, definitely was pro Ricky. Sad, but I think the whole Clark story at the end, and I got goosebumps
Oh,
when watching
his
him
his
on
reaction was
18. Yeah,
amazing.
was
Oh,
like
like crazy.
I
But
wasn't
so
rooting against him. I was just rooting for like a playoff or something with Rory, or I mean, everyone wanted Ricky and Rory because like the comparison for them, like their entire career, and like Ricky probably hasn't lived up as much because he hasn't won a
yeah.
major and stuff, and isn't. But like Ricky still, as I said too, I saw that NBC and Peacock posted that. I think this was like one of their most viewed
Viewed.
tournaments, and I was thinking that like Ricky is a top five name in golf, and Rory is obviously also too. And I think that with people complaining about the course, like those two just carried that tournament. Like you get Scheffler and Xander, but like those they don't they don't bring names. You'll know Ricky as wearing his orange with his flow back in the day. Rory as this little chubby kid, like big cheeks, winning these majors compared to Tiger and stuff. So I thought like having Ricky in it just felt great for golf. So that's my kind of Ricky, you know, Hardo fan,
Your
and
Ricky fandom. Yeah.
yeah, which he's playing next. He's playing at Travelers, which we'll get into, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's any possible way he's going to play well, but proving wrong, Rick.
So
BDR,
I was gonna
BDR.
say, um, Wyndham Clark's reaction was like one of the best we've seen in a while. Like that was like so cool, just like pure, just elation. Nothing. Not like a subtle fist pump or like a subtle smile. Just like let it all out. I mean, the U.S. Open. I don't even want to know what it does to a player mentally. You got to think about. He shot what like a two was it 268? I think yeah, 268. So 268 shots. You're probably just mentally drained. So that was just I thought that was really cool to see. Um, just kind of him let it all out. Um, and his caddy is a really good golfer as well. So that's like it's like an awesome duo they got there because he helps him align. He always has a wedge in his hand. So it's gonna be really interesting to see like where they go from there. But I think we should touch a little bit on the success of the merchandise series. So yeah, I'm blown away that it kind of ended up where it was. I mean, a 7-part series. Didn't even think I'd get past part one, and just kind of saw it kind of kick off. So very grateful for all of you who have watched it. I still stand strong that despite many comments, that $296 rain jacket is not worth it. I do not care if it's Power Torque. I do not care if it is the nicest brand in the world. Give me the $80 Peter Millar jacket that they were selling. It does the same thing, but it's $200 less. As long as I'm dry, I'm dry. I don't need to be wearing this stuff that get no. I don't want to hear it. It's a ripoff. It was very interesting. Going through the tent and kind of like looking at these items and then filming them because the tent was full of reps from all these, companies from Peter Millar, from G4, from the whoever made the belts. I forget what the
Hmm.
company was. And it was just so funny, just me just walking up and just just filming these items. And just them just staring at me like, what's this like wacky guy doing? Just walking up and filming
Yeah.
these like outrageous items. And it was funny. So I filmed a bunch of stuff on Sunday
Right.
prior to the tournament starting with the hopes of that's when their most stock is. And I really should have bought that $180 decanter. I wanted that so bad. There are only 3 in stock. I thought, I'll have $180 for a nice thing of glass. But wanted it on Monday and it was already gone. So that was the biggest regret of the entire week. But I was filming, um, I was filming one of like the really expensive belts, and someone walked up to me and tapped me on the shoulder, and I thought, like, am I going to get kicked out here? Because it's not like illegal to, be filming these things. And I
Yeah.
turn around and it was a USGA employee. And she goes like, "What are you doing right now?" And I just, "Oh, I'm shopping for merch, whatever." Like a playful, like sarcastic laugh, like, "Oh, I'm getting
Yeah,
kicked out before the tournament even starts, aren't I?" And she
right.
goes, "Do you have a few minutes?" And I'm thinking to myself, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like, what did I make it 10 minutes before the USGA comes and finds me and gives me the boot? I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, of course." And she goes, "Can you come outside with me and be in a G4 commercial?" I'm starting to think to myself, this is not how I, envisioned this conversation to go. So I actually thought that this series was done before it even started. Imagine me, filming outrageously expensive things and someone comes up from the USGA. I'm like, oh, we're done. But I ended up filming in that commercial. They gave me a free pair of their new shoes, which is pretty cool. They're probably never going to air the commercial because I did such a terrible job in it, but still a funny story. Anyway,
It's
but
fitting. It's fitting because of the merch video success is that you're Mr. Merchandise. Like, I feel like if you give a tour of your room, that people would be
yeah.
like, you're like, this is the guy carrying around two, 3 bags of stuff, like on like during like a practice round, and you're like, he's
Well,
a
let's
sicko.
let's let's start let's start with this. This is that you should be able to see it. This is tournament sand from the 17th hole with the players. Biggest waste of money ever, but sure, let's have it. It's I gotta say, I have a knack for buying really stupid stuff because it looks cool. I mean,
Yeah,
geez, I have too much merch. I'm just looking at, what I've got kind of laid out. There's a lot of good stuff at the tent though. Obviously, there's a lot of expensive things, but I mean, the golf shirts were nice. Nike golf shirts like 80, $90, but as in the series, they were very easily some insanely overpriced things.
yeah,
And that
yeah.
gummy shirt sold out, which is hilarious. And I would love to meet the people who wear that thing because you look like a gummy bear. But whatever, to each his own, or the flower shirt, or the blues clues, the cashmere, it just keeps on going on and on. But enough about merch, enough about LACC. I've talked about it enough. Spent too much of my life there, I guess is the best way to put it. On to the Travelers, which, if you think I'm tired, imagine how the players feel. Um, I know that Ryan Gerard, you've probably seen the story, finished, like 56th, I think. Caught a red eye over to Hartford to play in the Monday qualifier for this. So he's probably even more tired than I am. But the Travelers, designated event this year, TPC River Highlands. It's actually one of my favorite tournaments. I just think that it is so well put on. The crowds are always awesome. There's water everywhere. It's not a long course, par 70, another par 70. It's kind of like the only course that I like seeing like 20 under win because it is just so. I don't know. I just think
Right.
it's a really nice layout. The front nine's difficult, and then you have a beautiful finishing stretch. But I'll let you dive into a little bit about it because yeah, feel free.
Yeah. Quick hitters, short course, only like 6,800 yards, 6,900 yards, par 70 as you said. Pete Dye, design, Mr. Pete. I think what I've done my research a lot of players who played well here before also play well. So course history is pretty prevalent if you're trying to look at golfers who um, you want to bet on. As you said with the water, you need to be good around the greens. Short course, so driving doesn't really matter, but you have to hit your wedges well and get up and down. So it's sneaky tough, even though it's 6,800 yards. And as you said, it'll be interesting to see kind of. I don't play DFS. I don't think you do it too since COVID, but like it'll be interesting to see what the ownership is for the guys like Scheffler and Clark and Fowler and McIlroy who've kind of went through the whirlwinds of emotions and now flying from LA to
It's
Connecticut on the East Coast,
like
which you did,
3,000
and
miles. Yeah.
you're like you're groggy, and you just were
Yeah.
at LACC walking around. They were actually mentally playing LACC, so it'll be definitely interesting to see. I think, as you said, this course is. I think anyone can really win. There's not really like a big skill set that like you need to be good off the tee or long irons or whatever. I mean, around the green does help, but like people who are good chipping, it's not gonna make their week. It's just gonna keep them in it. So I think anyone can really win. So it'll be interesting to see kind of like it'd be interesting if like a Austin Eckroat, one of those type of guys who's playing well, who like isn't
Yeah.
like a top 20 player, like a world maybe makes a run at this. So I think we can see kind of like a Kurt Kitayama, like Wyndham Clark, but now he's a household name now. That like one of the non-big names could like make a decent run at this. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm in a pool. I'm in Rick Run Good's one and done pool. So we got some options this week that if you want to dive in on some of them and some players, I can do that.
Yeah, I think an interesting, thing just to start at is obviously it's a very interesting week with, all these players, playing on Sunday and then turning around and taking a day off and then flying right out here. So I don't want to say you like cross off, Wyndham or Ricky or
Yeah,
Rory. But it seems like, that's a lot to ask, like, a player to kind of go out there and, play, 72 good holes in a designated event, but maybe a
right.
20,000 or $20 million purse will change the mind. But I think something that's really interesting here is Justin Thomas is 75 to 1 right now. And we're talking about a two-time major champion here. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, obviously his game is not where it should be, where he's out, winning. But we're talking about someone who just won the PGA last year. We're talking about someone who is, perennial, like the face of golf. You talk about Rory, you talk about Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas is right there. So, like, how do you handle that situation this week? I mean, it is so interesting to see. Like, he easily could go out and win this, but people are just saying, "Oh, his form stinks. Let's write him off." He's one of the best golfers in the world. So I don't know. I think missing the cut kind of helped him. A little bit of a reset. Like, I think Homa's another really interesting play this week because I would honestly rather favor people who are not, flying from four straight rounds at the U.S. Open. But I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that.
I'm a big JT guy, as you can tell, and listeners will figure that out quickly. But like he posted on Instagram that this is his lowest point in his golf
Yeah,
career. So I think he committed to the Rocket Mortgage next week
he
too.
did.
So it looks like he's like I don't think he's hurt. I think you can say, oh, is he hurt? But I don't think he would be playing the Rocket Mortgage, where I don't think he has any sponsor ties. I don't believe. So it looks like he's trying to
Mm,
find his game. So like I would not put any. Like I need to see it to believe it. You
yeah.
know, I have bet Thomas the last couple of weeks. I might have been last week. I kind of forget, but like I don't know. He hasn't been playing well for like the last like 18, 20 months. Like this isn't just like the last like 2 weeks where he missed a cut. Like this has
Mhm.
been going on, and he has vocally said that. So, and it's funny because like the spring break 2016 crew, they kind of go in a little cycle. It was, Spieth went first, I guess. Smiley, off tour, but he's doing great on NBC.
Very good.
Fowler
Yeah.
went through his. This could be JT. So, I mean, every golfer goes through their, highs and their lows. So
Mhm.
to answer your question, like I wouldn't touch him. If he wins, he wins. But I like I'm not gonna be on that bandwagon when he hits at 75 to 1. Like I'll take the L
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, do you have any like final thoughts on what to look forward to? I mean, obviously, a designated event, so it's going to be I just think it's so interesting. I mean, obviously the Travelers has always been after the U.S. Open, but that is so mentally draining. You talk about the Heritage down at Harbour Town, right after the Masters designated event. And then this, I guess when it's, like at Pinehurst or Oakmont or something, it's not that bad of a travel, but like, geez, like you're really like pushing the button on this designated event thing. Do you think the PGA is kind of forcing this whole designated event system just cause? Like I don't
Yeah.
know if you have
Well,
any
I
thoughts
think
on
the
that.
schedule next year that they put out, which we don't know with Live and PJ, so that might change.
Yeah,
But I think that they're trying to do it like a two on two off system is what they try to do. But I
yeah,
think I think it could work at the Travelers because, as you said, like that city cares so much about it. RBC,
yeah.
Honehead, they care so much about it. So it's like there's still gonna be energy that I think the players can like feed off of, which I like, but jokingly, Jordan Spieth isn't playing in this, and I don't
Interesting.
know if you heard, but he has his own RV that someone drives
Yeah.
around.
Uh-huh.
So could you imagine him? Not only him personally drives this, but like he would have to have someone drive from LA to Cromwell, Connecticut.
That's
So
probably a three or
like
four
that's
day drive right there.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that's
guess that's
terrible.
probably why. I guess he didn't want little Sammy Spieth in the bed. I guess and like his wife Annie and you know
Yeah,
Greller and Cam McCormick or I don't know who is in that RV.
yeah,
Which surprised that there hasn't been like pictures of this RV because like knowing Jordan Spieth is probably one of the nicest RVs you've ever seen.
probably.
I know that Jason Day does that too, but yeah, but some guys that I have that I like place some like top 40, top 30 bets on. Russell Henley's playing some good golf.
Hmm.
I bet him this week to finish. I think to beat someone. I forget who, but he's saying his irons really well. So he's kind of rounding in the form. Hideki is a lot of people are on Hideki, which I took him in like a round three matchup, which hit. He's saying his irons really well, but he can't really putt,
He never
and
can. He never can.
he's one of the best wedge players, and he's probably a top five player in the world around the green. So if he can make putts, like he'll be in it.
Hmm.
I mean, I also like Austin Eckroat too. I'm looking at his stats right now. His last four events, five-ish, six, he's gaining ball striking at least two or three strokes. So if you want a flyer, I like that. So, yeah, as I said, it's kind of hard to bet the top guys. I feel like they're kind of here, so they don't get fined. You know, definitely Rory has to be here because since he lost like $3 million, which
Yeah,
is nuts. But the other guys can't. I think Scheffler were top 10 with a blindfold on, like and that's it. If like Ted Scott just like tells him where to go and where to position, and he has a
hmm,
blindfold, I think he like tops 10. So definitely interesting week. It's kind of hard to handicap, I feel like, but there's a couple guys. Taking Fitzpatrick in our pool, I'm actually in exactly 100th out of
mm,
1,100 people right now
mm.
in the pool. Taking Fitzpatrick, who he's playing decently well. I think he's rounding into form, good all-around game. Um, he made the cut at the U.S. Open, but didn't really contend, so I kind of like his mentality, hopefully. So taking a flyer on him to hopefully move up some spots in the Rick Run Good one and done pool. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
those are
yeah.
a couple guys, and so I'm on the Fitzpatrick train. Fitzpatrick, Hideki, Henley, Eckroat. Those are my guys. Let's have
Well,
some fun this week.
let's have some fun and just out of pure exhaustion, I'm not gonna bet a single thing. I'll watch it, of course, per usual, but I'm golfed out is the best way to put it. I mean, being there for 7 straight days is a lot, but make note of the time. Justin Thomas is winning the 2023 Traveler, 75 to 1. Put a couple bucks on it. You can go buy me, and we can, go get a nice dinner or something like that
Before
later.
before we go, I want to say one little quick tidbit for you. Ryder Cup talk. Wyndham
Mm.
Clark is going to be a killer in the Ryder Cup.
Oh.
After that twirl on round three,
Hmm.
18 hit the flagstick, and he's all cocky. Like I wanna go to war with him in that team room to
Hmm.
beat Rory, Rahm, Hovland, and beat them on their soil in Italy. So I can't wait for that. That's my little tidbit.
Ricky Fowler needs to be on that team, and Justin Thomas probably won't, which is crazy. Never thought I'd say that
No,
sentence, but
Thomas is making it.
he will, but
He
with his
shouldn't. He
recent
shouldn't.
form.
But he's like 16-5 in match play,
Yeah, no,
and
no, of
like
course, yeah.
him and Spieth. But no, I agree with you. Like he shouldn't. Like Cam Young won't make it at this point because of everything,
Hmm.
and DJ is probably like what happens with Live Tour. Can they play? Can
I
you
don't
not
think they're
play?
gonna let him. I don't think they'll let him.
No.
So
I
I
feel
think you can
we're
cross
too.
DJ and Brooks off.
No, Brooks is going to automatically qualify for it.
Is he still able to, even though because of the leg
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Really? Huh.
yeah. Because like
Interesting.
the majors matter the most about like the points. So he was T2 at Masters and won PGA. So
Yeah,
he
I guess
probably
you're
has
right.
to he probably has to finish like I don't know stats. Probably has to finish. He was T17 this week, which we took in the pool over Hovland, which I said on
Hmm.
my solo pod that we took Hovland, but pivoted to take Brooks, which was really well because they finished the same. So,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, no, I'm excited for Ryder Cups, but yeah, I feel like Clark will be paired with like a Tony Finau because Tony Finau just gets paired with anyone who doesn't want to play with, but Clark has that like dog mentality,
Yeah.
that toughness. So I feel like the Europeans might fear that guy, which there's not really many people to fear with like that like energy besides like probably
Hmm.
like a JT and stuff. So should be interesting. Should be interesting. But yeah, we got
Yeah.
Travelers. And yeah, we're gonna keep grinding on TikTok and subscribe to YouTube and Instagram, all this fun stuff. We're gonna keep grinding. So um, we're just getting started, Ethan. We're just getting started.
We are just getting
Just keep the
started.
train going. Keep the train going.
Keep the train going. I will be at the Ryder Cup out in Rome this year as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Don't have any other plans for golf tournaments between now and then, but I don't know. All I'm saying, the British Open is calling my name. Liverpool could be fun. We can make it happen, but we'll see. So look forward to some exciting content in the future. I am absolutely exhausted about the fallover. I'm going to call it quits here. It's a pleasure
All
talking
right,
to you.
catch your
Looking forward
Z's.
to, yeah, catch my Z's. Looking forward to great travelers, and you'll hear more from us later. Take care.
All right.